Hello. On the 9th of April this year at the Human Design IBIZA event, there is a program that I'm going to be offering for teenagers. In many ways, it's long overdue. And it is really something for so many of us to really grasp that this knowledge has always been intended for those that are young, for those, in fact, who are coming into the world. The sooner that one understands the nature of oneself and the way in which one can operate in the world, the sooner one is going to be able to make a difference in the nature of one's own life. See, the one thing that you're not taught when you're young is that you're really not taught how to function. You're not. You're given all of these examples around you, and you simply follow the examples that are around you. The reality is that from the time that you come into the world, you're immediately giving up that authority to all those people that are around you, whether it's parents or teachers or whatever it may be. The force of the conditioning of friends, the way people do things, the culture that you're raised in. Nobody tells you what makes you different. Nobody tells you how that difference in you is the bedrock of what your life is going to be about. You know, most teenagers in this day and age have a very, very difficult time. You know, 200 years ago, when you were 15 years old, you were considered an adult. You were already somebody that was probably married and had children and had been working since they were 8. We live in a very different world. And at the same time that there are all the biological indicators of maturity in the teen years, we now live in a world where it takes a great deal of time to be able to master the skills necessary to do well in this world. You spend a long time in schools. You spend a long time in schools learning about many, many things, but not about you. And in that environment, you are constantly being conditioned by things that truly do not necessarily belong to you. The first thing to understand about human design and a human design chart is to see that it breaks it up into 2 different things. You get to see your nature. That is, what is really there in you? What's the imprint? What's that thing in you, that spark in you that makes you different from the other? Not only that thing that makes you different from the other, but in that is your whole potential in this life. On the other side is the whiteness, the openness. These are receptors. We're open to conditioning. This is nurture. This is where we take in the other. But you see, the way in which we are designed is that it is the openness in us that determines us. It's the openness that fools us, that pulls us away because it is attractive. And we lose hold of who we are. And we become a little bit like that person over there and that person over there. And then we don't have a sense of security. We don't have a sense of trust in who it is that we are. What human design does is that it simply maps your potential. And in mapping that potential, it's mechanical. It gives us something very special. It gives us a way of understanding what's the best way for you to make a decision. Now, I want you to think about that, what it means to make a decision. The moment that you make a decision, you set yourself on a certain path. It doesn't matter whether it's a big decision or a little decision. And the moment that you make that decision and you set yourself on that path, that leads you to the next thing and the next and the next. That decision that you make at one point can distort the whole way in which your life is going to move. And nobody teaches you how to make a decision. I bet you think that you make decisions with your mind. Because that's the way your parents make decisions. They make decisions with their minds. Nobody taught them how to make decisions either, because it's not with the mind. This is what human design shows. And the way that we get to that is that the first thing that we get to see in the mechanics of the way people are is we get to see that there's 4 kinds of people. They're called types. And each of those types have a strategy. You know, a strategy, a way in which they are intended to operate. And the way in which they're intended to operate sets up the ability to make a decision. And to know how to make a decision as yourself changes your life because it gives you authority. You, not someone else. You know, the moment that you can be secure in making a decision as you really begin your life, not somebody else's life who wants you to be this and wants you to be that. It's about understanding what is correct for you. You see, making decisions is at the core of this knowledge. So that you can begin an experiment, because this is not something to believe in. Human design offers anyone who's interested an experiment. An experiment that you try yourself. The experiment of following the strategy and the authority of your type. And whether that type is a manifestor or a generator or a projector or a reflector, in your experimentation with that, you're going to discover not only that you can make decisions this way, but they're so different in the way in which they work for you. There's a lot more as well. You know, there is all of the understanding that you can get about seeing the way in which your design is laid out, the various aspects of it, to begin to grasp the nature of who you are, to begin to understand not just yourself, but be able to understand your friends, those people that are around you. Now, to be able to do that is not complex, and it's free. All you need to do is go to the Newcomer Center. And in the Newcomer Center, you can find out your design. You can download free software. You can go to areas where you can listen to audios. You can read descriptions about all of the various things that are applicable to your particular design. It's your chance to be free. It's a chance to liberate yourself from a world that's constantly trying to mold you into what they think you should be. And about you being confused about what direction to take in your process at any moment in your life. This is a way that you can find something in yourself that you can really trust. Not only trust it, but it will do for you what is correct for you. For you. This is all about you.